Brew is the head of legal at WAEC, and he'll give us some insights into the marking scheme. Doc, okay, did I say Doc? Reverend, good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hello.
Reverend, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
By God's grace. How about you?
I'm very well, sir. So, just as a general opening, has it come to WAEC's notice the?
Oh, is that Bernard?
Yes, it is Bernard.
Oh, Bernard.
Yes.
It's been a while.
Yes, sir. It's good to it's good to see you.
Yes.
Good. So I'm asking, before I even do a specific question, has it come to WAEC's notice the general angst among some schools, particularly private schools, about this year's BECE results? Does WAEC get any feedback? Have you heard how some of the schools and parents are complaining about the performance of the awards? Have you heard anything like that?
Okay, so first of all, good morning to your listeners. Yes, Bernard, we have actually heard it, and not only heard it, but some schools have actually approached us. Yesterday we had some such school approaching us, and we engaged them and explained the issues to them. So, yes, the answer to your question is yes.
But what has been the nature of the complaint? Is it just the fact that? Because okay, let me test what I've heard and then I'll compare. What I've heard is that some of them are saying, look, there are students in our school who do well in the mock exams. They get very high scores. They do 2 or 3 mocks. They get very high scores, and then when the result comes, they bomb. Basically, that's what they're saying. They don't understand how somebody who can do so consistently well in a mock exam then bomb so badly. So an example was given where somebody in a private school in Kumasi said they did 4 mocks and they got an average of 86 in English. And then when they wrote the BECE, he got aggregate 6 in English, and he was the best student in the whole school. Meanwhile, in the 4 mocks they wrote prior to the exam, they got 86, which seems good. So that's the nature of the complaint I have received. I don't know if it's the same type of thing the schools have been complaining to you about.
The same type of complaint. Consistently, it's the same. And if I may, if I have your permission to go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So what is happening is that it's like a local league and a national league, or if you like, international league or World Cup, really. So in your school, there's this boy or girl who is very good, scores 80 something, but then you are using only your school as the sample size or the population, and you are using the raw scores only. But then when you get to pitch your candidate's strength or your best student's strength with the best of the best in the whole country, then and you get to know that we use not just the raw scores, but then what we do is there is a moderation of the continuous assessment across the board for all schools, and there is what they call the TAS, which is the total assessment score, and there is a correlation. So it's not just as simple that you do mock in your school 4 mocks. Yeah, that is good, but really you are just pitching your strength, the strength of your candidates against each other. You now have to go to the national level and pitch the strength of your candidate against the national best in each subject. And then there is a deliberate policy, which is not WAEC's policy, but it is a national educational assessment policy that says that the first 4%, the best 4% in any subject. So let's say mathematics. Mathematics is a subject that is not subjective like English, but mathematics, somebody can get 100%. So you did mock 4 times in your school, your best candidate got 86, but then you went national, and then you had the best of the best pitching their strength against the best of your best. And so you have the best starting from 100, so 100, 99, 98, and it comes down to your own who had 86. Now, you just have to pray that your 86 falls within the 4% band or the range that is, that will get the grade 1. So in the BECE grading, you are doing the standard grading system, unlike the WAEC, where you do, if somebody gets 70 and it has to be A, then you can have 100 people getting A. The BECE, that is not the policy. The policy is to say that the first 4% of the best in any subject get 1. Then it moves down to the next 7% get 2.
Okay.
And it moves down to.
So how long have we been using the standard system for BECE grading?
My information is that as long as when the BECE was introduced.
I see. Now, what type of test is the BECE? Is it an assessment exam? Is it a placement exam? Is it an aptitude exam?
Well, I mean, from where I sit, my understanding is that this is assessment. Yes, you assess the candidate, and of course, it's also used for placement. So, assessment just means that, I mean, if you take an exam, you are assessed to see, your proficiency in a certain subject, how well you know it. So, yes, from where I sit, it's both the assessment and placement. So after that, then
so you said it's possibly a dual role. It's not like because there are some standardized assessment tests that, for example, test proficiency of English in class 4. That's different from BECE, because BECE then becomes a tool for an SHS to make a choice about whether the student can cope with SHS level of work. So BECE is both assessment and also placement, if based on the usage, right?
Yes, but then let me give an explanation. So you have somebody who had 86, maybe didn't get into the grade 1 band, because then people did very well, in a certain subject, let's say maths. But then he goes to SHS, maybe if he didn't get the school he wanted or even got it, whichever way. But he goes to SHS and he comes out with an A in mathematics at the SHS level, at the WAEC. Now then, people may get confused that, then why didn't get 1 BECE? How does he get 1?
No, I'm not even going there yet. I'm trying to just help me with the foundation I'm laying. You see, we've agreed that BECE is both assessment and placement. So if Bernard Avle goes to Infantipim school, he wants to do technical. Infantipim would look at his performance in certain special subjects, because the maths, technical drawing, or technical skills, what we used to call it, may be more amenable to the technical he wants to do than, say, RME or social studies. So where I'm going with this is that the information the result gives the school is dual as well. The information is to let the school know whether this person can cope with the work in the school, and also how. So where I'm driving at is that if the purpose of the exam is dual, the standard test result that you explained is more comparative. So you're basically saying, if there are 100 students, the top 4% get 1, the 4th to the 9%, so the 4th to the 13th percentile get 2. So it's a distribution you are using to compare who is the best within the population. That is all well and good if you were only using the result to compare across populations. But to the extent that BECE result is also an information for school placement, particularly for subject-specific placement, and also because aggregates are used. Now, the aggregate is if I get 2 in French and I get 3 in English, that means it's 5. Right? So then the information you are getting then tells me how good I am as a student. So do you suppose the standard system is the most appropriate to use for an exam with a usage which is both assessment and placement?
Okay, great. So you have raised some great issues. The point here is that WAEC mandate we do not do the placement. So really, in terms of the placement and the policy considerations, WAEC will not be the authority to speak to it. So we do this in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, GES. When I say we do this, what I mean is that we do the assessment and then we deliver the data for the placement to be done by the Ministry of Education and GES, if you like. So I think that our conversation, in terms of the persons who will respond completely to what you need to inform your listeners, it will be yes as WAEC in terms of the assessment and the grading system use, and then you would like to have someone from the Ministry of Education or GES to talk about the placement.
Fair enough. I'll do that. But you see, the reason I'm going here is that when I wrote BECE in 1995, I got 10 ones and two twos. Now, no. In fact, I didn't get science. I got 2 in Ghanaian language and 2 in French, and because of that, I couldn't get science at Presec. They gave me general.
But still, you are good.
Well, a lot of people in my class got 12 ones. Now, the point I'm making there is that they looked at the one I got in maths and decided that I could cope with the Jog Econs maths. Now, if you are telling me that this standardizing system is what they use, then they probably made a mistake. Because in my view, a 1 should mean something. As in, 1 should mean a certain level of knowledge about a subject that will allow you to cope with something. From what you are explaining, all the 1 means is that I was among the top 4% of BECE candidates who wrote math in 1995, which is why I got 1. Whether all of us got below 50 is not considered. Whether it seems I don't understand how can a percentile placement be the basis for a decision about somebody's proficiency.
Okay, Bernard, can I help you?
Yes.
Now in the BECE grading system as we have it now, we don't have excellent and we don't have fail. What we have is highest and lowest. Okay, so it's a standard grading system that if, let's say, in a certain year, the one who had the highest in maths had, say, 50 for purposes of argument, then you are going to take the first 4% of that year, the band, the range, and still give 1. So it works. Depending on where you stand, it works for good or not to somebody's advantage, depending on where the person is. So, for example, you said there are some people who got 12 ones, during your time. Okay, so because they fell within certain bands or range. Okay, so the point about it is, it all depends on at what point in that the performance of the individual candidate and the performance of the cohort or the group in any particular year. So you are not able to make even comparisons per se.
But Reverend, you see, mathematics is measurable.
Okay, right.
So if I write BECE and I'm able to cope with quadratic equations, sets, and whatever. Yes. Okay, so what if 500,000 people wrote BECE maths? What if 50,000 of them got 100%? Are you going to just pick the first 4% and say they got 1 based on alphabetical order and say the next 4% got 2? Because what if because your top 4% 4% seems arbitrary, and also if 4% all got this, if 5% all got the same score, how do you treat the standardizing system in deciding whether they got 1 or 2 then?
Okay, so this scenario that you've given hasn't happened. Maybe it will happen sometime to come. I don't know, but I think that the assessment experts, the assessment experts, not just in Ghana but all over the world, would have both the standard grading system and then what they call the criterion reference or criterion grading system. And the educational experts use each of these grading systems for whatever policy considerations they have. So my thinking is we need to rather look at the policy, those who make the policy, all stakeholders, for us to really look at the appropriateness of this or not. But I'm saying that for WAEC as assessment institution, you may say, okay, maybe the government has to take our advice, or what do we advise, and perhaps we can talk about it. But in terms of the decision making and the policy makers, it's actually not in our domain. Indeed,
but Reverend, I do understand that policy is not your domain, but you see, you are the expert in exams, and the purpose of an exam determines how it is graded. And we have established here that BECE is both assessment and placement. And based on what we've established, the standarding system, at least on the face of it, does not seem adequate enough to deal with the placement. And I just gave you the example of somebody who wants to go to Fantim to do technical, where the emphasis is on math and technical drawing, as against somebody who wants to go to Augustine's to do visual art. So a standarding system may be good for certain context. And WAEC, having run this since I think the first BECE group was 1990. So it means the BECE has been written for 33 years.
Yes.
I mean, is WAEC telling me they don't have a view on whether this standarding system is the best for...
No, that is not what WAEC is saying. That is not what WAEC is saying. I think once you ask me the question whether WAEC has a view, then I can go ahead and answer. And whether WAEC's advice has ever been sought, then I can answer. Okay, so to say that yes, there's been some report on it some years ago to use the other grading system other than standard. And my information is that the results, when it was seen, it was thought that perhaps the standard, we should stick with the standard. But let me even go ahead and explain and say that the placement for the BECE is done using the raw scores. Using the raw score. So, you know, the band just produces the grade. I wouldn't say just produces but produces the grade that a person should get. So 4%, 7%, so on and so forth. To the last 4% that gets the lowest. But for placement, the raw scores are used for placement, so that, you know, I think that fear does not arise in terms of the placement. So, but
I'm comforted by that. The raw scores are used for placement. So even if somebody gets 86 in my example, and you give the person aggregate 6, because allegedly more people got higher than that, you are saying he may still get into the Achimota school and get the general art because they will look at the 86. Exactly. They will not look at the aggregate 6 you gave him.
No.
That's comforting. Do you know that in the year 2000, Professor Champong did a report after the 2000 where he recommended the standard system be stopped because it was not appropriate.
I think I'll have to check on that, and then
he actually recommended that it should be replaced by the 9 skill criteria. Are you aware of this?
No, I personally, I'll have to check on it. I think if I was made aware, I would have, done my research, and then I would have.
Two final questions. Does the standard allow you to compare cohorts in terms of performance? So 2022 BECE, are you able to compare their performance with 2021 overall?
I mean, the idea is not to compare. The idea is for each cohort to, should I say, carry their own story. Let me put it that way. But then, of course, nothing. You never say never. Maybe for
but hold on. So if you are not comparing, how do we engage improvement? How will our policymakers at GS know that the year? So how do we know if in 10 years there's a decline in the quality of people coming to SSS or not, if we don't compare across years?
Well, I mean, that conversation, we can have it. We can have it between the policymakers and we, the assessors. And if you are saying we should have that conversation, it's fair. But what I'm saying is that for now, that comparison, I'm not aware that it's done.
What about the private public? I recall a few years ago, there were reports I read where entry into SHS was compared between different schools. And when you look at the caliber of schools that were producing graduates into like the top 60 schools, they were mostly from private schools. And in fact, I remember GS used to say, even though private schools don't have as well-trained teachers as public schools, because the private schools supervise their teachers better, the outcomes in the private schools are better. Now, this premise I'm giving because of the first question I asked you, that if the private schools are now saying that their students are getting lower grades and they feel they are being marked down deliberately, why won't WAEC publish the results for the school so we all know in terms of, even not, I'm not talking final results, I'm talking like comparing the performance of various schools across the years, so we know if there's been a shift in quality, if we know if there's been some problem with the way schools are teaching, because as of now we don't know why they are getting so poor results. And the standard explanation doesn't cut it, because based on your own interview, your own answers, we've been using standard since records started. So the standard cannot be the explanation for why a private school that has students that it believes have been well trained to then start having such very poor scores all of a sudden, just because now it's standard. Because, for example, if I go to Martin de Porres, 15 years ago, Martin de Porres will produce some of the best BECE results. If they are not doing well today, and you say it's because of standard, they will say, so what has changed, right?
Okay, so can I come in, Bernard?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is what it is. You know, it's an interesting thing in the assessment and education industry, if you like. A number of things happen. So yes, my school has been doing well for some time. The presumption is that then it has to be like that going forward. But your school, Bernard, you may set up a school, and your school can come up from yesteryear when it wasn't doing well to today when it's doing well, because the teachers that you have engaged, the training that you've given them, and the supervision of both the teachers and, if you like, the parents and all, go into the quality. So if you talk about good performance, it's not just an issue of having a history. You know, some schools may not have been performing well. You do one or two things well, and they perform well. So if you like, we all like football in this country. So you talk football. Now, there were times that some nations were not known as any football nation. Today, you cannot make the same argument, because people go and do their homework well. So I think that in as much as an organization, yes, we can look at how we put out information, how we educate people, mindful of data that, you know, maybe personal data for others and all. We can have that conversation. But I think that people need to take responsibility as well. Sometimes...
Well, but Doc, Reverend, don't you think that the more transparent we are... So, for example, I know Africa Education Watch have been trying to compare the mock results of private schools with the mock results of their final BECE results, see if there's a correlation, right? So you take the 3 mocks they wrote for the past 3 years and compare the average score to the final score, see if there's a correlation. The information for public schools has not been made available to him. So obviously, if we are saying, based on what you are saying, that, oh, maybe the public schools are catching up, it should be factual. It should be based on a certain evidence of policy shift. We can't just say because private schools are bombing, it's because public schools are catching up. That's not how you do it. You are supposed to then say, okay, what things have been put in place to show that even if there's a gap, it has been closed. And gaps like that are not closed in a year or two. That's my first point. Second point, there's let me put it together, then you answer both. The second one is that we've also noticed, indeed, a few parents have said to us that because of what they've seen in the past few years, when their ward in a private school gets to JSS2, they register them for BECE in a public school and sometimes in a rural public school, and they do very well. This is JSS2 private school going to a public school in a rural community and essentially doing very well in a BECE, right? And so, are you aware of that as well? Is this something that's come to your notice? And if that's not worrying enough for you for WAEC to come out to really address the concerns that there is a feeling that WAEC is being deliberately unfair to private schools for whatever reason.
Okay, thank you. I think that's why we are having this interview, and I've been on Joy Prime, and WAEC has not shied away from engaging the public. Indeed, when the public, some of the private schools have engaged us, we have actually offered to engage them in their school. We are thinking about engaging a larger, segment of stakeholders. So it's an ongoing thing. I mean, but then let me say this: that you see, claims can be made because people, have had a real experience with a certain aspect of the data. But look, people in private school, public schools come up with their continuous assessment. Sometimes people bring up continuous assessment that is not real on the ground. And so the relationship between the CAS and the task and the method that is used to calculate, are all technical things which we could engage and explain the way things are done. So yes, by all means, let's engage. And we are prepared to come to Citi FM to have a longer show to explain and prepared to go anywhere, to engage our publics who are our clients, to bring information to them so that there's clarity. So I agree with you. But I think that even now there is engagement, just that we don't come out to say, oh, we met school A, school B, and we said this and said that. So by all means, yes, let's engage. We are ready, ever ready, anywhere, anytime to explain how things are done. But just to say that there are things that are actually not within WAEC's domain, but everybody, when the results come out, it's WAEC. And I agree with you, once we have the forum, then everybody understands where WAEC. Yes. So by all means, Bernard, give us a slot, 1 hour.
In fact, your radio slot that you used to play hymns, the slot is still there. Pastor Mauni said I should tell you to come back home because
I'm coming.
It looks like
Bernard, I'm coming.
The WAEC has taken you more.
No, I'm coming.
Because usually you used to quote more scriptures, but at the WAEC work,
my sister is to the whole world. But then I'm taking you on your invitation. Yes. I'm coming back.
Yes, you are coming back, and I'm also bringing you back on the radio to play the hymns. Because we need you. Yes, so Reverend Victor Charlie is a strong guy.
I'm coming, Bernard.
Have a good day, sir. No, he used to play this guy Sunday morning between 5 and 6 a.m.
Thank you.
Oh.
No, he will
play the Jonathan Edwards and explain
from 4
and he'll give you the history of the hymn.
Reverend Victor Bruce.
He's a proper Christian man.
No. This one, they need him to win more souls for Christ. They start with K.
So the interview, I know if he punch the interview.
Some know they pause them. No. Some say no they pause.
I know if he punch.
I it came far away the thing over
every time in the West Suit.
Charlie. Even for him walking inside.
The gentleman, Charlie.
It came far away the walk for the air inside.
But the WAEC will be squeezed out.
No, WAEC just don't you walk about the beshan.
Charlie, but on a more serious note, we are lighting things up because I can tell you that a lot of parents, a lot of school heads are very unhappy. The explanation of the standarding system for this apparent overnight dip is not working. So what I'll do is I'm going to ask people to send me voice notes in reaction to what they've heard because we are trying to bring out the issue so there'll be a proper national discussion on it.
Yes.
We don't think this issue is being given the right attention, and we don't think that the education authorities are availing themselves. Commend WAEC. WAEC is open.
Yes.
When the Adilamte, Reverend Victor Brew, WAEC, they talk.
They are talking about this.
But as he said, this is GES, Ministry of Education, WAEC. It's a broader conversation. Mm-hmm. So if you have if something you want to say to us, you can send me a voice note. The number is 054-998-6996. Phone line will be a bit complicated because the line will be jammed. So if you want your voice to be heard on this matter, just take your phone and then save this number as the Citi WhatsApp number. That's the first one. 054-998-6996. When you save it, open WhatsApp. Then you click on the mic thing. You swipe it to the right, and then you record what you want to say. Then when you finish and you like it, you can even play and listen. If it sounds nice, then you press send. Then you send it to me. I'll play it on air. So let me repeat the number: 054-998-6996. We want to hear from you on this issue of general reopening. We are waiting for placements. BECE results, particularly for private schools, Star 9 system, and 4% for one. Godfrey.
Yes. I don't need too much time on this. I'll take it from the issue that birthed this whole conversation, the private schools versus public schools. I have not left this interview clear in my mind that they themselves understand the sudden dip based on the Star 9 grading system. That suddenly, and like you said, and within that particular answer lies the difficulty of the Star 9 system and the fact that you cannot run a comparison. You understand? So we would have been able to put it down side by side and say, between this year and this year, private schools were doing this. Between this year and this year, public schools were doing this. Students here were doing this. That data is not available primarily because of the Star 9 system. And it's one of the major demerits of it. Okay. And again, Reverend, it's not really his, I don't think that's a WASI problem. That should be a GES Ministry of Education problem.
Yes, sir.
In the sense that they are the ones who should sit down and say, for the past 10 years, how have students performed? How do we know how they have performed? At the moment, the system that we are using, does it give us enough data to be able to make the kind of... And you see, this leads to a lot of things. Because then we start asking questions on, how are you determining the kind of exam questions we are getting? How are you determining what you are teaching and how you are teaching it? It goes into a lot of things, because if you are not able to break down all these components, what kind of educational policy do you even push? Ultimately, what kind of educational system do you push? Because you cannot sift information from the very first national scale exam that you write. There's no way to sift information. It's very difficult.
What does the research say about the Star 9 system?
I will get there. And a lot of work has been done on the Star 9 system.
Okay.
Like Sky alluded to when you started. If you do even a case research, and I've done more than a case research on this. Bernard, I have like 6 or 7 papers in front of me. All of them come to the same conclusion. Change the Star 9 system.
So it's not just Professor Champo?
No, from as far back. So, this, I'm just going to read one. So it says, besides the ease with which Star 9 grades can be computed, the system was found to be the best system that could be used for both certification and selection after the abolition of the common entrance exam in the early years of the educational reform. However, since it is the norm reference grading system with the percentages passes already fixed, it was found to have several demerits. Major among the demerits, according to, this is the report from Achampo I'm reading, to year 2000. 1, it makes it almost impossible to compare candidates. Sorry, let me read this properly. It makes it almost impossible to compare candidates' performance and to determine from year to year whether or not there has been a nationwide improvement. For instance, the minimum raw score for the top 4% obtaining grade 1 in mathematics 1 year can be 78%. And in another year, this can get as low as 56%, and yet 4% of the candidates will still obtain a grade 1. Do you understand the problem that has just been described? Says 2, it does not reflect steadily rising or declining standards at the basic level, and thus the results neither reflect improvements in teaching and learning nor in candidates' performance. And for me, this is the ultimate line of education. So if at the end of the day, you cannot assess whether there's improvement in teaching or learning, what is the purpose? Why are we holding on to this? And conclusively, this was a grading system committee. They recommended in its place the use of a flexible 9-scale criteria reference grading system that will reflect variations in the performances of pupils from year to year. Now, this new grading system, which was to take effect from August 2000 BECE, is yet to be used.
Since 2000 recommendation?
Yes. Now,
other research have been done.
Yes. I'm going to go to another one. So,
2013.
I'm going to UCC now. So, another study was done there that said the research revealed that the Star 9 grading system used in grading, and this is UCC, for up until the point where universities became
universal banks.
UCC has a strong background in
UCC,
education.
UCC is still the best.
Science education.
Science education.
Yeah, they are still the reference.
And then BCom.
It says the research revealed that the standard grading system used in grading BECE candidates is norm-referenced and one not suitable for both selection and certification. Secondly, an individual's grade is determined not only by his or her achievements and efforts, but also by achievements and efforts of his or her cohorts. This suggests that aggregate scores of candidates are not comparable between years, and thus evaluating educational standards over time is impossible. It is therefore recommended that Ghana joins the rest of the world.
Are we on our own?
By adopting, some says on Ghana can continue. He says Ghana joins the rest of the world. Let me wrap this up.
Okay.
Ghana joins the rest of the world by adopting a criterion reference system of grading at the basic level of her educational structure. It is further recommended that the Ministry of Education should define a national minimum standard in the basic education system and incorporate same in the school curriculum. So these are just two different studies from two different places.
Something what we're going to add.
What I'm saying is that yes, it's a legitimate system where some universities, especially in North America,
Have used it, yes.
Have used it. But you see, they are universities, and most of them are highly commercial. And in terms of the comparison that you ask for, nobody really cares about that.
In the university context.
Exactly. But for a developing country that seeks to improve on its lot over time, it's important that we have a system that can do self-evaluation from time to time. And how do you evaluate if you cannot do comparison? Now, the biggest problem I have with this is you may even choose your standardizing system, but why is it being of a disadvantage to only private schools? If it's good enough, if it's bad enough, let it be good or bad for everybody. But why is it disadvantaging
the private schools?
You understand? So if there's a downside of it, it's only the private schools mainly who are affected. There must be something wrong with it.
I actually agree with you. I actually think the problem is much deeper, and the standardizing system explanation is probably, I won't call it an afterthought, because you see, the nature of the problem, I listened to you guys on Friday, the nature of the problem being described is there appears to be a haste in wanting to share a good news story about
Public schools
closing the gap. So there is a view that there's a determination to do everything to increase the number of public school people who enter the SSS system. Do you understand? So you cannot.
I didn't want to say it, but you said it.
Because see, the kind of problem they are raising, standardizing cannot be an answer to that.
Hold your thoughts.
Yeah.
I am thinking, in whose interest would this be? If a government comes in and in pursuing an education policy, they tilt it to favor only public schools, what then will be their success that they will boast of?
Because it's an election issue. It's a politics issue. Because,
and that's the private schools, they don't vote?
No, you see, because, Papa, there's a numbers game. Two things. Yesterday, I asked Kofi Asari a question, and he was saying that, when it comes to Ghana and education policy, a lot of the public school parents generally will not talk much. So even though they have the numbers, they are not very vocal. Okay. Now, there's a strong view that the private schools, because they are more well-to-do, they are the ones making all the noise. But the numbers lie with the public schools. And if the parents in the public schools are happy, it inures to the benefit of the decision maker. Okay. That's why even the free SHS, Kofi Asari was telling me that he doesn't think even if NDC comes, they'll change it. Because the education has become political football.
It's always been for every third world country.
It's probably gotten worse.
For every
because now I'm coming.
Make their lot better, but should not be at the expense of the private school. That's what I'm saying.
But let me give you two examples. You remember in Ghana, when it comes to even 3 year, 4 year, it became NDC versus MPP. So even with the two previous elections, it's gotten to a point where we are talking about free SHS. PTA people are sending us messages telling us that monies have not been paid. Headmasters are you are a PTA chair, soon. It's soon to be anointed, if you've not been anointed already. You are a PTA chair, right?
No,
He's an old student.
It's an old student.
not
He's
PTA.
the global president of Suezco Old Students
Please say that
I'm
again.
coming.
International.
Whilst we've been on air,
Change your number plates.
some parent teacher people and old boys in some schools have been reaching out saying that because of the way the schools don't get their monies on time, in a particular school, and Angel confirmed this, head teachers have to use their own money to even buy prepaid credit because there's no money.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm using to make a point that you are asking a very general good question, that in whose interest, but you need to admit that when it comes to the way we do politics in Ghana today, a political victory trumps everything in terms of once it will inure to a campaign message and translate into votes. It doesn't matter whose ox is goaded. It doesn't matter if the system gets collapsed, because one, most of the decision makers, they actually are not in the public schools anyway. So once they can say, we have succeeded in increasing this by X%, we have succeeded in doing what we said we would do, we are better than the other people who vote for us. That is what it has become. So it's not as if there's a certain agreement that we want to improve everything. No. It's a question of wanting to get political capital.
There are different elements in this. We are at the moment we are talking about the grading system.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that whether public school or private school, you go through WAEC for examination.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm asking that if we, by our policy, we have chosen to use this system,
Standard system.
why do we make it? I mean, what do we benefit by making it advantageous to public schools, as you know, at the expense of private schools? Just leave it for everybody to go through the same assessment.
And that's something that it has not been established that it is the standard system that is leading to.
No, it's not. It's not been established. That's
so. And I'm saying that there's
that's why you should make sure that everybody is assessed.
yes, and I'm saying that the standard system is probably an afterthought explanation, because I don't see how. Because if you look at the private schools who produce BECE candidates, I'm not really sure that their students are worse than the public schools. Right? So even with the standard system, the private schools generally, based on the level of supervision, will tend to do better than the public schools at the basic level. And that's been the record we've had for years. So the standard system seems to me to be some backdoor explanation that is not really the issue. Because what I'm saying is that even if the standard system were what it is, it should not lead to the outcomes we are seeing.
Yes.
Yeah, somebody cannot get 86 in 4 mocks and get 6 in English. And then you say it's because when we calculate in that group, so many people got, so it means that between 100 and 86, there were so many people who got 1, 2, as in who got 80 and 89, 90, 91. I said this guy's in the 6th percentile, like the 6th percentage. It doesn't
Yeah,
make
but
sense.
even that, granted that this guy is in the 6th percentile, how come the people who are always in the lower percentile always happen to come from the private school?
That's the question. That's the question that.
And Victor Brew, please, what's the other lady, the PR woman?
Cassandra.
No, she's
Cassandra. I forget.
for WAEC.
Yes. Yeah, our friend. You know, please, you should find a proper way of explaining to
But
the
do
public.
you agree when he says that the policy questions we are raising are beyond WAEC?
Agnes Tekujo.
Yes. She's saying that we should bring in GES and ministry because for them, they've been given a job to conduct an exam.
Yep.
But some of the questions we are raising now bring in GES, now bring in ministry.
Whereas I will hear him when he speaks this way. The GES does not control how WAEC conducts itself at all.
On paper or in reality?
No, in reality, WAEC is a professional examination body that is in competition with other examination bodies.
Globally, but not in Ghana. In Ghana, they are the masters.
What I'm saying is that so they also have peer review even on the continent, in the West Africa region. So you won't say that because Ministry of Education wants it this way, we'll do something that hurts our own image and reputation.
Let's hear from some parents on the bombing, because the level of grades. Okay, I have some on my phone. The level of performance I'm being told in terms of the dip You can have a whole school, the best candidate, like their best student, or who some of whom may have done literacy challenge and gotten to like say semi-final or whatever. I get 10.
You get it.
I mean, and the things don't add up. Me, I wasn't that smart too.
That doesn't make sense.
If I got 10 once at BECE, the people who come on literacy challenge, the girls who came here for spelling bee and things. The kind of things they know. Yesterday I was teaching one of my boys in class 2. The kind of things they were even teaching. I said, why they teach you? Like, so I don't think the students of today are that bad. That
not at all.
Based on the standardizing system that I got 10 once, these guys should be getting, I get 10.
And getting
there's something
6 in English.
Listeners, we apologize for the
WhatsApp thing.
Yes, so
I think maybe there are too many
messages coming in.
Do you know what I should do? Let's take
you should actually open the
calls.
phone lines.
Yes, so Sky, announce the phone lines for me.
Okay,
Announce the lines for me.
Yeah, so you should kindly call 0302 230075. 0302 230075 or 0302 224959. 0302 224959. The last number I will give is 0302 973 736. You can put through your calls now and we'll pick your views on the discussion underway.
So parents, teachers, students,
examiners.
What's going on with the BECE? And while we are at it, a few quick comments, Sky.
Yeah, so let me take this one coming in, which says, Bernard, the true test of any level of educational ladder is for its graduates to be able to teach any subject at the level just beneath them. Example, first degree should be able to teach senior high school students. SHS should be able to teach JHS, and JHS should be able to teach primary. Thus, the current poor performance of private school BECE should be traced to the poor WASI outcome, since most of the private school teachers are secondary school graduates. Right. That's his explanation.
Let me go to Henry in Hacho, 0302-230075, 224959. Henry, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
You're on air.
Yes, I think for what I know, the private schools do organize a training program, a training to the JHS 3 people. And I don't understand why they camp them, parents pay so much. And the content of what they teach is what I doubt. I'm suspecting that it's likely that they have the questions, like the big questions, and then they teach them, they train them on that, they take them through it before the standards. Because this training doesn't come out, the content doesn't come out for us to know. And because of that, they read the marking sheet, and this is what is affecting the people.
Thank you very much.
Course, when the first question comes out, people will know. So they have to find another way to better their grades. And that's what is happening. That's what I think.
Thank you for your call. 0302-224959. 0302-230075. Here's a good one from Irama. Good morning, Bernard. My ward attended a private school. The final results for those in Form 3 were highly disappointing. Not a single one in science for the whole school. Therefore, ending up in their third choice schools, etc. However, the Form 2 students who had not completed the syllabus but went to register with government schools to write the exam all got their first choice schools. How do you explain this?
Yeah, that's where the issue lies.
That's that, and
but that's why yesterday I was telling you that the suspicion that I have, I can't voice it on radio. But it is linked to, it is in between the points yourself and Samens made.
Find a way of making it. Alex from Kumasi, good morning.
Good morning, Bernard.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is Alex. Please, I have a point on you people taking on WAEC over this private school, public school issue. We listened to the man from WAEC. There was no where he made mention of the fact that anything has been done to affect the private schools. In fact, the standard, the test we're talking about, it applied for both private and public. And if we look at the WAEC system, whether BECE or WASI, when you write, it is not WAEC that marks the papers. The papers are marked by teachers who go through coordination and other things and mark the papers. WAEC only receive the results. So in what way can WAEC influence the outcome of public schools as against private schools? It's not possible. So if the private schools are now not performing, then they should sit up and find out why this is happening. It could possibly be that the public schools are also coming up. And that's why
which is why we are saying that let's prove it. It's nice to all say it is possible. We can use data. So no, hold on. We haven't accused WAEC of anything. We are saying that if you are going to use a system, the system must be able to generate information for us to compare performance, so we can advise policy. We don't want to come on air and say it is possible that the private schools are not doing well. That's not how you do policy. You don't do policy by saying it is possible that. You do policy by saying, assessing the past 10 years of the results. This is what we know, which is what we are saying, that they should be able to produce the history of the performance, but their current system does not allow that. That's the point we are making. So we are not here just accusing WAEC because we want to accuse WAEC. We are saying if you want to improve policy, your exam results must be comparable. And at this point, they are not able to deliver that. That's the point I'm making. Thank you. Let me take another call in a couple of quick seconds. 0302-224-959, 0302-230-775. While we are doing that, Nathan has a couple of quick announcements to give us.
Yeah, when you are planning your next adventure, remember that it's not just the destination, it's how you get there. So you need to fly with Emirates. You get great meals on the way, great service from their cabin crew, and it will be a fun time. So wherever you decide to fly better on Emirates. Find out more at emirates.com.
Wonderful. Go on.
If your health is important to you, then you need to visit Vigdank Healthcare. Vigdank Healthcare is a Ghana Health Service certified healthcare center that specializes in kidney stones, hepatomegaly, hypertension, fatty liver treatment, among others. And they use 100% natural medicine in all treatments. They're on the Spintex Road behind the Standard Chartered Bank. Call them on 0549 951 211 or 0502 661 346.
Let's go to Emmanuel Ateshin. Good morning. Hello, Emmanuel.
Yes, good morning, Bernard. Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, you are live on air, sir.
All right. Firstly, in relation with the private schools, the first thing you should look out for is what is the quality of the teachers they have got there? I mean, I know some private schools that actually employ students, SHS graduates who are not even fit to gain admission into the teachers training, or even just to teach their JHS students. So people do not really concentrate on the quality of education they are getting. And just like the other man said, the WAEC, I don't know, he said this, that when it has to do with their mock examination, we should not forget it's internal. It's not external. So the questions comes from the same teachers that are not fit to teach. But everybody just look at it in the umbrella of private school. So firstly, you look out for the quality of teachers they got there, the quality of their learning material.
But how do you explain GSS 2 people in a private school going to a public school to write the same BECE and doing better than the GSS 3s in their same school? They didn't even go to classes in the public school. They just went to write the exam in a public school, and their result is better. Is that also because the supervisor was a public school supervisor?
No. Now, when it comes to that, I was actually coming to that. Secondly, there is politics. We all know very well. I mean, we don't need to sugarcoat it, even though Godfrey will not say it. But we know that there is politics in this whole public sector, something, in these three SHS. But I'm just looking away from that environment. I'm only speaking on one side. Okay, right. After the other side, maybe Godfrey would explain.
Godfrey will explain that for you. He said he doesn't want to explain.
I don't want to explain it.
He said he doesn't want to explain. Nathan will read a couple more comments and I'll wrap this segment up. Yes, let's take some comments.
Okay. All right.
Go ahead. Okay, this one says, Bernard and team, do we need the press before authorities commence school placements? Ghana and Yeye. So this is in reaction to the announcement coming in from the Ministry of Education that they'll be holding a press conference at 10 this morning regarding the school placement system. This one coming in from Tete Parent says, Citi, sometimes the courses get changed in some cases by the schools. Also, the items you have to buy in a prospectus are not entirely the same. some vary from school to school. So a short notice is not really feasible. So this is in reaction to concerns about the fact that 5 days or 2 days to the opening of schools, we still do not know where students are supposed to go. Again, somebody making the point about prospectus varying from school to school.
There are so many articles on the we just got one which was written by the immediate past Director General of WAEC, the very Reverend Dr. Samni Mai Olenu.
What does he say?
And he basically, in conclusion, is asking for change in WAEC needs to change. I call upon the powers that be to give support to WAEC to meet the demands of this rapidly changing technological era. Yet the era encompasses a generation in which crime is on the ascendancy and has assumed sophisticated proportions, basically calling for reform. I'll take, okay, it's gone off. It's calling for reform, similar to some of the other reports you've read on the program. So, I will take a final comment and then I'll move to something else.
Okay, so this one says, hello, Bernard and team. WAEC needs to be investigated. It is a, well, they're accusing WAEC of wrongdoing, and I wouldn't read further. This one says, so does the grading system only affect the private schools? That's a question coming in from someone at Lakeside. And this one says, good morning, Bernard and team. The Stein grading system has always been used for BECE assessment. In 1 year, 80% could earn grade 1 due to general performance of candidates, while the same 80% may earn grade 2 if the general performance of candidates is better than the year before. Now, the Stein grading system does not depend only on individual performance like WASI. Or we are told is now worse. Maybe it's about time we reviewed this standard in line with the newly introduced standard curriculum. It's coming in from Kwame.
In fact, Olenu in his article says, I find it heartwarming that in outlining the proposed education reforms, there was an expression of intent to change the current grading system of BECE from the NRT to the CRT. Because he was basically saying that recent developments in the country indicate that the emphasis of JHS has shifted from being a mere selection apparatus for SHS to measurement of achievement to help the teacher give the student early preparation or coaching for life. As such, the thrust of JHS education has moved further beyond mere literacy and numeracy and liberal arts to acquisition of life skills, soft skills, and problem-solving abilities through activity-based learning. To facilitate the continuation of the process at SHS, the final JHS test should unearth these skills and competencies acquired by the students, be they soft or otherwise, and give any indication of capabilities and academic orientation. This will provide a basis for counseling regarding the field of study or profession that the learner may pursue at the next stage. Unfortunately, the information for such an exercise cannot by any means be generated by the NRT system, which is the current system being run. So he's saying that he endorses the need to change from the NRT to the CRT, which is what is being proposed. So, and he gives the history of the NRT grading system, which gives indication of performance within a cohort. But the CRT grades can be compared across years, while the NRT grades can only be compared within a year. And this is the immediate past, right? So again, this is the immediate past, DG of WAEC.
And just wrapping this up, Bernard, the reason why it's important that all parties come to the table and sort this thing out as quickly as possible. The issue has come to the fore. Public versus private is this. We've now seen this strategy, which has always existed, but now has become more popular, of private school people putting their children in public schools to write the exams and doing well. That is not the way to deal with some of these matters.
We are told, some people are suggesting that some psychological softening of the marking scheme for public school students could be taking place, which is why if you go and write in a public school as a Form 2 private school person...
It is not psychological, Bernard. I dare say...
It is deliberate.
It is deliberate. I dare say. But I don't, you see, that's the thing. Based on we must be a bit responsible in some of our
preferences. for me,
but you can always make reasonable deductions.
I'm just saying that, see, Reverend Olenu is the immediate past director.
The man worked at WAEC, and he is saying that the system will change.
Because he said that the NRT is not fit for purpose for where we are going, which is why Victor Bruce struggled in the interview. If Reverend Olenu has said this, I don't even think we should argue about it.
But it will not. If the reason I'm saying we should talk about it, because it might not get changed because it currently fits.
It's fit for purpose.
It's currently fit for purpose.
At least from the viewpoint of
what the objective is.
let me tell you about what my objective is for the morning.
Okay, tell me.
I'm going to
Tell me.
I need to talk about something we are doing. Yes.
What's up?
Yeah, it's not everything.
We are doing a lot of things. So which one? Tell me.
So what I'm saying,
Ghana.
you see, we don't just sit here to talk. We also do things.
Yes.
So when I come back, I'll tell you one of the most important things we've launched this week, and why you must make it Ghana.
Oh, you sound like about me.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Hey, nowadays, germs are in the air. Aren't you concerned?
Concerned about what?
About the children, of course. In times like this, they sneeze, cough, and fall ill just like that.
This is why we need to give our children and ourselves a fighting chance with the maximum protection of Dettol soap. Dettol soap not only refreshes you, but it can be used for bathing and washing hands. So keep calm, get Dettol soap.
Dettol protects from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Dettol is endorsed by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association.
This advert is FDA approved.
Ajua, Grandma looked very peaceful. I was completely amazed when I saw her neatly presented. She looked just like she was sleeping.
You haven't seen anything yet, my brother. You should have seen the care and quality treatment they gave her at transitions. 1 man, 1 room, just like a 5-star hotel.
Wow.
And not only that, we had a dedicated person to guide the family through the funeral planning process.
Are you sure?
Of course. From picking her up to when we lowered Grandma down, everything was completely stress-free. They had all the needed funeral services, caskets, hearse, chapel, and so much more.
This one, dear, no family fights after all.
I'm so happy we made the right decision to use transitions.
With transitions, your loved one gets the best of care while the family enjoys a stress-free funeral planning process. Call us now on 0302 634 706. And no, did I tell you they're affordable? Transitions, the funeral people.
Join the conversation on the Citi Breakfast Show on Facebook at facebook.com/Citi97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/Citi973, and Instagram at instagram.com/Citi973 with the hashtag CitiCBS.
Unleashing the power of relevant radio. This is Citi
97.3. I smile too much. I'm way too hot. I'm too spirited. I'm cool.
We are a media house, and we believe in a certain order of doing things. It's very clear. We are committed to Ghana's development, and we commit all our efforts to doing that. And because of that, we do different things. So yes, we do interviews, we do advocacy, we do news reports, but we also do campaigns. And the month of March has always been our Heritage Month. So we launched it again a couple of days ago. But this year, Heritage Month is going to be part of a much broader platform.
Okay, unity, yeah, on the cat. The cassette, voice, I share, then your temperature. Now you both want some pocket pressure. Now, still, you did that. I show one, show love.
So this week, or this Monday, we launched, I keep telling you, Make It Ghana.
Yes, Make It Ghana.
Yeah. Make It Ghana is something we've been nurturing for a long time. Because as we think about various aspects of our problems, we want platforms to address them. So Samuel will tell us more. We were cooking this a few weeks ago, and we sort of released the first iteration. Samuel, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Properly. So we launched 2 things. Of course, the Heritage Month was launched on Monday. We know what it is. So tell me a bit about that, and let's talk about the Make It Ghana.
Heritage Month is the month where the month that we have put aside to celebrate Ghana, to celebrate us, to celebrate where we have come from, to celebrate all the features that define who we are, the people, the places, the experiences. Everything Ghana is what we celebrate in the month of March. And we chose the month of March for obvious reasons, being the independence and all that, you know. And we got independence. In fact, you hear people say this, oh, you got independence before this country, or the same year as Malaysia. Oh, you heard that, right?
Yeah, Malaysia started at the same time.
And then even Singapore, and then all of them are ahead of you. You know, but people forget that Malaysia, Singapore are Chinese people who had behind them about 6,000 years of civilization before this whole colonial thing. So they had mastered the art of living and crafting the whole idea of who they were.
And colonialism
only was an aberration.
It
did not disrupt anything. So you see, the idea of not knowing who you are is a very painful problem.
I tell you.
And if we don't use our medium to celebrate and remind people of who we are, it's going to affect everything else we do. Okay? And so that is why we do our Heritage Month, and it has all the activities that we have outlined.
So initially, it was just a month long on air. It's sort of grown into a caravan, a food bazaar. Just talk me through the evolution.
Okay, so we talked about education, historical education about Ghana, which moved to celebrating our food, the food that make us who we are, foods that we all knew when we were growing up, is to just bring them back. Because, see, globalization and the opening up of the media has come with it some influences. And these influences, at times we see them and we don't even think they are deliberate. But these are people's deliberate efforts from their countries to try and penetrate your system and dislodge what you're used to. So, because of the opening up of media, international media, internet and everything, people look at what happens elsewhere and they think that it bodes a better life for them. So ours is to bring back what we are used to, what defines us as a people, and that's what brought the Back to Your Village Food Bazaar. Just bring it back.
So you're saying we have to, even though we are Ghanaians, we know our food, we have to consciously promote it, remind people about it, and get people to patronize it.
Of course. So it's actually brand reinforcement approach. So reinforcing it. That look, that's your Gary Photo thing, no? The Gary Photo thing that you have discarded.
It's not backward.
It's not backward.
Charlie.
It is not because the sun is up 24 hours.
Oh, so that means
and the heat, and you are sitting in trotro going up and down. The calories you burn.
You go and buy pizza.
And you see the calories you burn, no, it's not for you. And the thing is that even if you bought pizza, can you afford it?
Yeah, I really want to burn it in my house.
You understand? So I'm just saying
that is meetings. We want to eat pizza.
because when they go on the internet, these are the things they see.
It's why I'm coming to see, because we haven't put Gary Photo on the TV. We haven't put all the nice things we do regularly
and all these things.
He thinks that when it's midterms, the main thing is to go and queue and buy pizza and eat. Then he's also big.
Because again, as a young person growing up needs validation. When they go out, what conversations are they having with their friends? You understand? Their friends are talking about, summer school. They brought us the Italian, how do they call it?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. I only got to know only about 4 or 5 years ago that Talia was actually the spaghetti.
Yes, so
and then the other one, there's another one.
Indomie. So you know what it was? There was a brand of spaghetti. There was a brand from Italy called Talia. You know Italia.
Oh, I see.
Where we don't see that. I will call them Talia.
No, but I was saying that. So
it was Italia. No, it comes from Italy. So there was a brand called Italia.
Oh, okay.
Where the Ghana people just dog there. I will they say, yeah, me Talia.
Where will they fire the
Talia? We will chop her as if we be champions. So you are reinforcing. So, but why food? Why is food important?
Because food is one basic thing that also defines us. Yes, look, if you were in the US, in the UK, and you were passing and you saw a shop where they are selling. This is just a random case where they are pounding fufu or selling fufu.
Hey.
Straight away, you know who is there.
Ghanani.
If you know Kotoko shop, you know all these places in the East London and the
you drive for kilometers to go and buy half cooked cake.
You are getting there, you see some smell coming out.
You identify with the smell.
Exactly. So I'm just saying that it's part of
Food
who
is
we
key.
are.
Food is key. So, and of course the caravan we've discussed a lot.
Yes.
I still want it. It's almost like the most innovative thing I've seen in a long time. Takes all the boxes of travel, tourism, all the things are in there. I guess it's getting more complicated to organize, is it not?
Actually, I think if you ask me, it's gotten a lot easier to organize because over the years we've also garnered some skills and more experiences. Granted that you've had the business development manager, Manimen Sabunso and his team, and then the events people who have done this repeatedly.
So they are getting a way of making it happen.
Yes, it's better structured, and we every year we seek to control more of the elements because the ones we seed out normally become the problem areas.
So we are now in charge of everything.
We try to as much
now,
as possible.
for the Honest series, I also noticed that there's going to be conversations about music, conversations about specific institutions like the military, conversations around food. Why are we choosing these areas in the conversation, which is, I think, both radio and TV, right?
Yes.
What's the thinking?
Well, I mean, so every year we focus on some part of our storytelling because, as you say, even the stories that you tell about yourselves is part of your identity. And there are things that have happened in the past that young people have no book to refer to. Or even if there were books, it's not highlighted. So ours is every year to choose a particular aspect of our stories and then tell the stories publicly. And then also, again, we think that there's so much to do with our musical forms and in fact, especially our dance music that we really have not brought to the fore. So we are taking some parts of the high life music in Ghana, high life music in Akan and across board to really do deeper levels of appreciation for music. So you have the band in the studio, you have an ethnomusicologist in the studio who is working with the band and having.
So you are giving them a living experience of the music evolution.
Exactly.
It's not just like an academic.
For instance, Gaman, we sing this song. Nathan, if you can help me. Afi aya neba ninawo. Afi aya neba ninawo. Afi aya neba ninawo.
I'll sing it this way.
Wafe momo panyo aninawo. Afi aya neba.
And they say so Alonte something.
The second stanza says, Alonte dinko
no black
cat fowote.
About fowote.
Afi
Can you understand? Adadi black. I recommend about Tonyango.
So Bernard, listen. Why am I singing this song? If you are a Ghana and you sing this song, why should you ever forget about a song like this?
Oh, Charlie.
Why should you ever forget? Goosebumps. I mean, we used to sing this song when we were kids in Amamo. And it's never, because every time
the years to go and come back.
Yes.
I love it.
Let's grow gracefully in age. That's all it's saying. You understand?
The D part. No more this. My brother, I was okay. Leslie Adiko. When we discuss the politics, right? Modern Sally.
AKA modern sin. No more.
Every time some matter finance.
You see, you are not Ghana, but my little appreciation of the Ghana, you see the way you are excited, and this is what we are saying.
You have roused me.
We can't throw these things away because they are of good value.
No, it's
They are
powerful.
of good
So,
value.
Sam, it's working. Heritage Month is working. Caravan is working. And, of course, the Food Bazaar is working. So, what is Make It Ghana?
Okay.
What is
so
that?
Make It Ghana is an overarching theme to drive a certain kind of appeal to make the choice of consuming any and everything Ghana.
Oh.
Can you repeat that again?
I am saying that it is a new drive that we are selling that compels us to make a choice of consuming any and everything Ghana. The reason is, you see, when you are spoiled for choice, you are more likely to make mistakes in what you end up choosing. But when you are determined to close down the options for the sake of the expected outcomes, you are able to be consistent in going a particular way of your choice. And we are saying that we recommend Ghana, forget about the politics and all these whatever, because the only country where you are not a stranger is Ghana.
But your own country.
You understand? I don't know when you ever traveled to the UK and then when you got to Heathrow, the man there, that Indian man in the corner there asks you, MPP, NBC? The only question is, are you Ghanaian? And that's it. So we need to, you see, this thing of making it Ghana, make it Ghana. And we try to look at different...
So I was coming to, we chose 3 platforms to start with.
Yes.
Film, tourism, and investment.
Yes.
Let's start with, why did you choose those 3?
Okay, so we chose it and we say that Make It Ghana, that the Make It Ghana theme, and we're going to have the t-shirts, the caps, and all the things that come with it, because it's a promotion that will cut across Ghana and Ghanaian communities outside of Ghana.
Wonderful.
So that we believe that with that Make It Ghana logo, every Ghanaian on your own becomes an ambassador of the country based on the memorabilia that you're using. You know? So if you wear a Make It Ghana cap and you are walking, say in Heathrow, somebody sees you and becomes curious. If you are wearing a t-shirt, Make It Ghana, somebody sees. This is what we are saying. That's something that speaks about Ghana on its own.
Wonderful.
And we are directing it to investment because we need more investment than we have ever had.
True.
We need more. Yes, Yofi Grant and his people are doing so well, but we need to now come back into Africa, Africa proper. How do we generate more investment from Africa?
Yeah.
You understand? And then we talk about tourism. There's so much potential. As for the tourism,
it's like
yes, we have done well.
It's like
with
your first
tourism.
love. It's almost like tourism.
But it's like, Bernard, you know, at times in my bed,
if you get tourism ideas,
I think about tourism. I'm telling you. In my look, the other time I was like, you know how many forts and castles we have in Ghana?
Oh no, we have the most on the continent.
Why don't we have one place in Accra that showcases just pictures
of forts
and videos of all the forts and castles with the history, somebody telling the story, so that BECE or the students can just go there, pay just one CD and be told the story with proper videos. I mean, what are we talking about?
Simple.
Why is it that we have had Gunda barracks in our history? We have had Arakan barracks, Kutu Achampo. We have had till today, no child is allowed to go there and be told the story.
Wow.
If the child pays just one CD and be told the real story of how it happened. Isn't that tourism?
Yeah, and also...
meanwhile, it's part of our Ghanaian story.
So the linkages, education...
Plenty.
Hospitality.
So we are there. And so we talk about investment, we talk about tourism. As for the tourism, if I give a scale of 1 to 10, we've just done 1.
We haven't scratched the surface.
No, we have not.
Wow.
We have not to say that somebody is doing a bad job, but I am saying that it is our savior.
There's a lot more we can
Entertainment tourism, sports tourism.
Oh.
This country has more stadiums than most African countries. Nathan, correct me if I'm wrong. And some of the stadiums are getting rotten. And we are sitting here, we still don't see it. So I'm saying
by international standards, we have only
one
proper one.
No, because we've messed them up. That's what I'm saying. But if we see the potential, you understand? We can't do sports and leave it to GFA to run
at all.
No, it's more serious than GFA.
That's the issue.
It's actually more serious than even the ministry itself. That's why at some point Kutu Achampon himself was sports minister.
He became,
of course,
president and minister.
Yes.
Of course.
So you see, it's a serious thing that the potential for the tourism thing.
What about film?
Film is a major one. I'm telling you. I mean, look, the NFA is doing its work so far.
National Film
so
Authority.
Good, but they don't have money.
Yeah.
And they don't have money because not because somebody hates them, but it's because people have not been able to conceptualize the real value that film production brings to this country.
People still don't get it. People
there's a commercial angle. You understand? There's a commercial angle, but there's also the cultural angle.
I'm seeing something I wanted to just push to you back on the region. So as we are talking, somebody from the Western Regional Minister's office just sent me a book they had written called Discover Western Region. The best is in the West. And then let me just read a preamble to go to something you've been talking about. From tourist sites to experiences, this book gives you at least 53 reasons why you should visit Western Region as a preferred tourism destination for your honeymoon, quality vacation, relaxation, and play. In fact, Western Region is the best place to see, eat, and feel Ghana. Western Region, Yawazoye, the best is in the West. And then he says, on this note, I reach out to you to invest in this huge tourism potential in the region. And then he gives some details. I'm coming to the point about even the regions positioning themselves. You've said that before. Volta tried something like this. Western too, based on what I've seen from the regional minister, they seem to be interested. How big is that opportunity in this your tourism?
Huge. So let me finish with the film production. When it comes to the tourism. See, the Make It Ghana is calling on everybody to now start seeing Ghana more than ever before as your film production destination. Why? Because we still have huge tracts of land. We still have institutions that are training people to support film production. And you know, if you and Godfred, you are an authority on this one. If you know production of film and drama, you know that 1 hour, just 1 hour production. Godfred, how many people would you employ with just 1 hour production?
A lot.
You understand? So how come you have given over 300 TV licenses in Ghana alone? And correct me if I'm wrong. 300 TV people free on air. Licenses. And the licenses don't put any requirement on any license holder.
In terms of producing
in
content.
terms of forcing them as part of the requirement to produce or showcase locally produced material.
So you can get a TV license and show only Indian movies the whole day.
What kind of human beings are we? Go to Nigeria and see. Go and do that.
Try it.
They will throw you away.
So you can have the 300 stations all watching Indian movies from morning to night.
If you have 300 stations and you say that as part of the requirement, you are required for every 24 hours to show just 1 hour of locally produced Ghana content. Do you know how many jobs you create with that policy? So I'm saying that the film thing is a key very strategic. And it also helps tell our stories. Look, the country like France, they have invested so much in it that they only compete with the United States in film production. Yes.
I didn't even know.
And do you know that France has more tourism visitors than any other country in the world?
Hey, I thought it's only Eiffel Tower they have.
All kinds of things.
They record more numbers than even America.
They
record more numbers than America.
The food and
you understand? So we are sitting here. We have done appetition from whenever. Appetition, giving it a bad name, that nobody will ever travel from Abuja to come and see the way you process appetition. Meanwhile, you travel from here to South Africa to go and see how they do their wine. Travel from here to Italy to see how they do their wine. And we say we are not going backwards.
I said it the last time.
I need to intervene here. I need to intervene here.
I just use Apodisi as an example. But I'm just saying that, you see.
So just to wrap up because of that narrative. So the Make It Ghana is a platform that we are using to
announce that Ghana is ready for everything.
And we are going to champion that with our airtime.
Champion that.
Make it Ghana.
Make it Ghana.
Mm-hmm. So that's why I ask Guy, if it's food, make it Ghana. If you are looking for a job,
make it Ghana.
If you are trying to build a factory,
make it Ghana.
If you are looking for a wife,
make it Ghana.
All right, we'll come back and do a quick interview with one of our key partners for the Heritage Month. But let me just tell you about your next adventure. If you're going out of the country, you need to travel with the right airline. And let me tell you about Emirates. The economy is even amazing, right? There's a great taste of food on the aircraft, fantastic cuisine, inspired by original palate. And there's also the best drinks on board as well. Simply get in touch with us on emirates.com for more information before your next flight. You'll get world-class service along every step of the journey from Emirates award-winning cabin crew.
All right, for the punters out there, Bet365 is now officially live in Ghana. So if you love your sports, what better way to get a piece of the action than joining? You get to bet across a range of markets. You can build your own personalized bets. You enjoy all your favorite sporting events with live streaming. Remember, Bet365 also lets you cash out early on your bet on selected markets. Visit their website bet365.com.gh to join. Not for those below 18. T's and C's apply. Please gamble responsibly. Now, I vow to be available, I vow to be dependable, I vow to be reliable. This is the Ghana Post vow, and they're giving you vows on wheels. So for 30 cedis, we deliver all your gifts to your loved ones within Accra. For 20 cedis, get sorted within Greater Kumasi, and on the campuses, 10 cedis, and you are sorted. Just send them a WhatsApp message or call 0542 527 004 or 0268 001 944. Vows on wheels, carrying love to its destination. And this promo is brought to you by Ghana Post. Coronation Insurance is giving up to 2,000 cedis worth of fuel coupons and other amazing prizes in the Coronation More to Win promo. To participate, just buy your motor insurance by using the Coronation Insurance digital platforms by dialing star 789 star 115 hash or dial mycoronationinsuranceghana.com. All fuel coupons are redeemable at any Shell fuel station, and you can call them on 0302 772 606.
When we come back, we'll be speaking to our friends from the NLA. They are heavily on the Heritage Caravan. They are going with great determination. I'll be speaking to their manager for marketing and characters, Bernard Avle. When we come back, stay with us.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
We're back with school. We're here now. We're box and they were back at
Shopping for all your school needs made easier with Prospectus Ghana. We have it all, from mattresses, trunks, chubbox, brooms, cutlasses, hose, and more. Just bring along your list and we will deliver. Call us on 050 600 607. Locate us on the Graphic Road opposite Toyota Ghana. You can order online at www.prospectusghana.com. Prospectus Ghana, we are there for you. Prospectus Ghana, your one-stop shop for all your school items.
Prospectus Ghana, we are there for you. Your one-stop shop for all school items. Everybody, let me see.
My name is Joe Metal, and I want to invite you specially to the induction service of Dr. Stephen Wyndham and the outdooring of the new executive presbytery officers of the Assemblies of God. It's happening on the 25th of this February, 9 a.m. sharp at the Grand Arena International Conference Center. Come, let's join together as we adore our new leadership, and we're trusting that God will lead them to take the church to where He intends it to be. God bless you, and see you there.
There is about to be a shift, growth, and transformation as they plan to reach, rebuild, restore, reform, reposition, and rebrand the Assemblies of God Ghana. Proverbs chapter 11 verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but there is safety in the multitude of counselors. Come, let us welcome and celebrate our new Assemblies of God leaders. God bless you.
This is the Citi Breakfast Show, the city's biggest conversation.
Welcome back. So it's 9:49. My guest is my namesake, Bernard Avle. It's not often I get to interview Bernard. He's the manager for marketing and Caritas. And NLA are proud to be associated with the Heritage Caravan and indeed the Heritage Month. And Bernard is here to tell us why they are part of this. But I just wanted to say welcome, Bernard. Good to see you.
Thank you, Bernard. Namesake.
And NLA has been making some strides in the past few months. So, you know, we monitor the media. It's like NLA is very bad. Is it when you skip now? Where are you? What's happening?
Right, Bernard. Thank you for the opportunity and thank you to your listeners. Bring you warm greetings from our Director General, Mr. Samuel Oku, and the entire management of National Lottery Authority. Yeah, like you mentioned, I wouldn't say NLA Nyesika. But like maybe. So it's all about leadership.
Okay.
You know, when there's the will to get things going, you create the opportunity or the avenue to make things happen. So that level of commitment and what we as an entity or as an organization where we hope to arrive at, you need to start from a certain point. So that is what we are doing now. So as you can see, I'm sure within the last 18 months, like we were saying, a lot has gone into the brand to make sure we are out there for the good reasons. Yes, we will not get it all right, but at least, like you said, you've seen some good strides and some good visibility with the brand NLA.
What does NLA do, by the way? I think people should know.
Right. Interesting. I know anytime the name National Lottery Authority comes, the first thing, like when I bumped into Samuels, was like, too sure. That is the first thing that comes.
That was amazing.
You know, so yes, we were a state institution that regulates and runs Lotteria, an operator and also a regulator.
Wonderful.
Right. But aside that lottery bid that we are known for, and there are a couple of things that I'm sure within the last couple of months we've made noise about. So I can talk about the Caritas Lottery platform, and then I can also talk about the NLA Good Causes Foundation. In October 2021, we relaunched the Caritas Lottery platform. One may ask what the Caritas platform is. So it's the arm within the NLA that regulates the consumer promo space for corporate Ghana to ensure that whatever promos that are being run or being organized are not fraught with fraud activities or any scam processes and all that.
So you protect consumers.
The consumer. At the same time, protecting the corporate Ghana also to ensure that not, because as a regulator, we would want to make sure that if Bernard is to take part in the consumer promo, in the event that you want to take us on legally, by the time we go through the processes, you, the consumer, you are protected, the client is protected, then the regulator.
So the space needs regulation.
Yes.
And the Caritas is the mechanism for doing
doing
that. Now, so do people sign up to the platform?
Yes.
So it's like I'm a bank and I do maybe quarterly promos.
Right.
Is it a voluntary sign up, or once it's some level of consumer promotion, I have to be on?
Thank you. It's not voluntary.
Okay.
The Ghanaian consumer or anybody that partakes in the consumer promo needs to be protected. It needs to be a regulated space. That is how come the NLA. We are backed by law at 722 as the body that is mandated to regulate or run anything that has got an element of lotto and lottery. You can run consumer promo that probably might not have the form or guise of lotto and lottery. But what we say is that when you add that lotto and lottery bit to it, it creates that buzz, that excitement for you to get that needed traction.
Anything lotto?
Yes.
Or maybe
you should have come to Caritas. Right. So it's not voluntary. So it's just to ensure that company A doesn't come out to advertise for a promo, get Ghanaian consumers to jump onto it, and then when it's time to also deliver on what they promised, then they are nowhere. So once you want to go on board, you apply, you get us your letter of intent stating the promo terms and mechanics. The legal and compliance team would have a look at it with the Caritas team, where we need to advise a tweak, we do that. you have to add your terms and conditions also, because it needs to be spelled out clearly. You need to also even give us the list of winners you intend to reward.
Wonderful.
And then the prizes that you're also going to give out. You also submit your marketing collaterals, where we need to also vet to be sure that
you are telling people
whatever the claims that you are putting in there,
Wow.
it's what you are advertising.
That's wonderful.
So that come end of the day, if let's say we are to do a quarterly draw, monthly draw, even weekly, it is the NLA, the Characters Lottery platform, that would come run that draw or selection process.
Wow.
And when we do that, what it affords the brand is that it gives that level of credibility to the brand. Once the Ghanaian consumer gets to know that it is being regulated by the regulator, they get that confidence, that assurance that if let's say it's Bernard Company Limited, you've not decided to just reward your family and friends. We want to give everybody that level of fairness, so that everybody has that equal chance of winning whatever has been advertised.
Which companies have utilized the platform so far?
Okay, I can, top of mind, Rana Motors, Fidelity, EcoBank, Etel Tigo, Nestle Ghana.
Wow. Across banks,
across
FMCGs, oil companies.
Across board. Multipack, Glochem, that's Belacqua, Bolt, Souvenir, Melcom. So it cuts across. What it is that the whole idea is to ensure that we are protecting the Ghanaian consumer. And then, Bernard, let me add this. The catch here is when we run this consumer promo activity or we regulate, whatever payments that are made for the service on the platform, it doesn't stay with the NLA. It goes back to society through the NLA Good Causes Foundation. In 2021, when we relaunched the Characters platform, the NLA birthed the NLA Good Causes Foundation, where we took up 4 thematic areas to give back to society. That is youth development, education, healthcare, and then arts and culture.
Nice.
So the arts and culture bit is where
the heritage
caravan, where Bernard and Citi.
So we are benefiting from the arts.
Perfect. Yes. Because you believe in Ghana, we also believe in Ghana, so we are giving back to society.
So education,
youth development,
health,
and then arts and culture. So any corporate body that comes onto the Characters platform knows that they have given back to society. So today, if NLA is supporting Citi FM on the Heritage Caravan, it is through the support and effort of corporate Ghana.
Wow.
Thus far.
That's why you are the manager in charge of marketing and Characters. So that's why you're on the Heritage Caravan this year.
Yes.
Because the caravan promotes arts and culture, travel around the country.
Very well.
Wonderful stuff. Before Sky comes in, what was the essence of hosting Corporate Ghana on Valentine's Day? I think you did a nice thing.
Thank you. We did some business with Corporate Ghana past year. We all know what happened last year and all that. Like I mentioned to you, we did a relaunch. So what the status quo or what people know, we've taken money or we've come to make a payment and we've regulated your promo doesn't mean it ends there. There's a need to sit with you, have a discussion, dialogue with you to have a review of whatever happened, the consumer promo. Because at the end of the day, before Corporate Ghana set itself out to run a consumer promo, there should be some set targets.
Okay.
We need to dialogue to be sure whether the targets were met. What did we do wrong? What did we not do well? How can we get it better? So that when Corporate Ghana is coming back, we know that at least the regulator just didn't come in to just come take money and go. At least they should see us as partners. So we believe that they are partners. We've started a journey. We want to go far. So there's a need for us to do or have that activity. That's how come yesterday we hosted them, Corporate Ghana.
And your motto is development through games.
Yes.
So your development focus is key. In fact, in some countries, I'm told the lottery supports very important courses, and it's one of, I think, in the UK.
The Great Wall in China was built with proceeds from lottery.
I didn't even know that.
Yes, and some of the good universities
Wow.
Yes.
So your vision, so are you saying if things continue within the 4 areas you've said, you could actually go into much bigger campaigns?
And I think within the last couple of months, like I mentioned, with the NLA Good Causes Foundation, we've touched lives, north, south, east, and west.
Wow.
There's something that worries.
Lawyer Sky,
he's
putting it to me.
Yeah, while you are doing great things, there are a lot of people out there who are free riding on your good intentions and all the things you are doing, and what they do is they are basically scammers. Like almost every day
on the phone.
Yeah, that's right. I receive so many messages of people who say they are within the system, who can give me winning numbers. They know how to manipulate the system and all of that. Are you aware of this free riding, and how are you dealing with it?
All right, Dela, thank you so much for the question. I'm happy you brought it up. You are fully much aware. We're working closely with the Signals Bureau, National Communication Authority, and the telcos to try and pick up some of these people. Some strides have been made. We made some arrests. Some of these cases have reached different levels. And I want to use this platform to reiterate that it's a game of chance. So there's nothing like a strong room or anybody having access to the numbers. Within the last couple of months, if you've observed carefully, what NLA has sought to do is to move the draws closer to the community. So we started by taking the draw for the first time in the 60-year history of the NLA to Kowu. We moved it to the Fetu Afashe. We went to Hogbechocho and ended the year with the Takrade masquerade. The whole idea is to demystify the notion of having a strong room. So we bring in, as part of the efforts, we're working closely with our Corporate Affairs Directorate to educate people.
To demystify.
Yes, because if people don't get to be educated, that's when they fall prey to some of these things. So if you get to see the processes, what it goes through. As I speak to you now, coming weekend in Sawama Dodre, we'll be moving the draw there. Next 2 weeks, we'll be having the draw live at West Hills Mall. So these are all efforts that are being made. There are times when the security guys are also working. You can't just come out in the public and then make noise about it, because the moment you talk about it,
the teams will change their strategy.
They change their strategy. But I can tell you on authority that there's nothing like a strong room. There's nothing like anybody having prior knowledge of the numbers. I always say this when people ask me that, as workers of NLA, what would have done if we knew the numbers come end of the month? We all would use our salaries to double, yes. So if you are not doing that, why would you tell me that I should give you those numbers? So anybody who gets you, I'll be happy that you forward these contact numbers to us. We push them to our internal security who works. They work with the security agencies, and then we are trying to get some of these. And I want to also use this platform to also appeal to some of the media houses who grant the audience to some of these fraudsters
to just come and have a field day,
to use their network
to do this kind of thing.
Yes, some of them have got these audios pre-recorded. They pay for the airtime,
just put it on TV,
and then just put it on TV and radio, and then people unsuspecting customers just fall prey to it.
Thank you.
And then they get scammed. So Dela and the team, NLA doesn't support that at all.
Thank you, Bernard. Bernard Boama is the manager for marketing and Caritas from NLA. They are proud to be associated with the Heritage Caravan and using their Good Causes Foundation, promoting a number of important things. Thank you. We appreciate your support.
And he came in with a good friend, a former colleague, Mami Kesoa.
Plenty people have there, even my friend.
TV fame.
In fact, I have a guy there. I have a guy there called Dennis Asamoah.
They're all within the
like they are entering the local system. We have to interrogate the matter. Charlie, they are recruiting people. Maybe we should go and join them. Neti Ajaho is already here, Citi News at 10, and she has all the details. Good morning, Netele.
Good morning again, Bernard. And coming up in Citi News at 10, West African Examinations Council, WAEC rebuffs claims that